Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be the 9th update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows 2021 series. This is the third year in a row I am participating in this project that Alexi created many moons ago, and I love this project so much. My rules are ever changing to keep it working for me, my painting style and everything else I have going on, but overall I just love the randomizing 5 shades out of 5 palettes or whatever to work on, and it just keeps me creative and rotating through my makeup collection. My goal this year is to hit 21 eyeshadow pans this year, and I'm only at 9, so I have to buckle down in these last 3 months of the year. I don't know if I'm going to meet 21, but I'm still happy with my panning so far this year. It's way better than years prior. I did randomize 5 shades. At least one of them has to be non-cruelty free so I can eventually work those out of my collection, and I'm not going to work on a black shade. The goal is to hit pan on the eyeshadow or use it 30 times. If it's rolled out of a brand new palette I have never used before, I need to use the palette in its entirety 10 times. And that is something someone suggested. I should have looked it up before sitting to film. I was going to say use the shade rolled in 10 times and play with the rest of the palette outside of that. They said that maybe just using the palette as a whole 10 times would be a good change up for me, and I agree, and that has helped me a lot over the last month, so that's what we're going with. Before hopping into my progress, I will pop in a picture of what my color story was looking like over the last 2 months actually, because I didn't roll anything out last time. Over the summer I was not wearing makeup nearly as much, and it definitely slowed things down for me. But since the weather has cooled off, I've been wearing makeup way more and having just so much fun being creative again. I feel like I am slowly making my way out of my makeup rut, and that's really exciting to me. So all of the blabbering aside, I go in the order of the shadow that has been in my project the longest, all the way down to the one rolled in most recently. So kicking it off with my Violet Voss Sugar Crystals palette. This has actually been in since the beginning of the year. I rolled in a second shade from this palette, which is the shade Lemon Drop, and I have used it 4 times over the last month, which was surprising to me because in the comments of my last month's update, we all kind of agreed that I should just roll this out. I've talked about being burnt out on this palette. I've used this palette 35 times this year. It was brand new to my collection, and I just need a break from it. I've been working on it consistently for 9 months now, and I'm just ready to put it away. It's not that I don't love this palette, I do. I just need a break from it, kind of. It's been in my everyday makeup drawer for 9 months. It's constantly in my line of sight, and I have so many other palettes. I just want to put this away. So I did use it 4 times this last month for a total of 16 uses on the shade Lemon Drop, and I used Pear Berry 27 times in this project, and I've used the palette as a whole a little bit too. I'm happy it's gotten some love from me, but I'm ready to put this away. It's kind of like a veto, but it just needs to go right now. Next up is my non-cruelty free shade that comes from the Sephora Pro Warm palette. I'm working on the shade Clay. I used this shade 7 times over the last month, bringing me to a total of 19 uses with fall makeup looks here. I went very fall today. I think there should be no reason why I can't reach for this. What was that accent? Why I can't reach for this shadow 11 more times to meet my 30 use goal. I do not foresee myself hitting pan in this. I also used the shade Hazelnut last year 30 times, and honestly the dips are pretty similar right now. Clay seems to be a little bit more powdery. It has a bit of kick up. It's just a nice Warm Brown shade. I will swatch this since it is staying in the project. I really love this palette. It's unfortunate it is not cruelty free. Sephora Collection has mentioned that they hope to be cruelty free by a certain date. I can't remember which date they had said. This is like the biggest, messiest swatch, but there you go. It's in my crease today. I really enjoy this and have no problem reaching for it. Just the palette is kind of big and heavy to be sitting up on my vanity, but it is what it is. I'm happy to be working on this, and maybe I can roll that out next time. Next up, my Ciate London New England palette. I rolled in the shade number 14. It is a very deep purpley shimmer. I can't get this palette open. Okay, here we go. I have used this shade 3 times over the last month, bringing me up to 6 uses, and I have quite a dip in here. I hope to hit pan on this shade before the next update. I had said this was going to be my focus shade in my last update because I think it is the one that's going to be easiest for me to actually hit pan on. However, I made the decision after that as I pulled out all the palettes I'm working on or shades I'm working on that lean more summery to really hone in and focus and get my usage or pans out of those shades first. I'm still working through a lot of those, and I've been alternating like a more summery makeup look with a more autumnal makeup look like I have on today, just so I don't get too burnt out. But I'm really trying to work out those palettes and shades first so I'm not still working on them in December. So as I'm working through those, I do think that I will be able to hit pan on this relatively easily. I don't know how deep these pans are, but I'm very hopeful. There is a black based shimmer. It's like a bluish purple glittery kind of shade. Like it's a shimmer, but there's like glittery particles, if that makes sense. It's very beautiful. I like it on the lower lash line. I've liked using it as a liner, and also when I'm doing more purple toned looks. Sorry, my stack of palettes is falling down. I like putting this on the outer part of my lid. So 6 uses. I think I'm going to hit pan hopefully before I get to 30 uses on that one. Lastly, I have 2 palettes that were brand new that I had rolled into this project. So again, I'm using the palettes 10 times. First, I have my ABH Jackie Aina palette, and yes, you guys, this month I have been reaching into the sky. It is what I have on my outer corner and part of my lid. Oh, my inner corner was the Violet Voss Lemon Drop shade, I should have said. So I have reached for the shade Credit 3 times. I have used it in my brows. It's a bit dark for me, but I can make it work if I use it on like the tail of my brow and then a lighter shade in the front. It is just a very dark, rich brown shade. The kids are being so loud. So I have 7 more uses on this palette to go. I've been very happy with the 3 looks I've made with this palette. I included the purple look, purple shades. Sorry. Yesterday I used Supreme and Bigwig in a purple look that I did. Today I have Credit on the outer corner and Sponsored on the center part of my lid. I used 4 of my 5 shades today. Sponsored is topped on Pistachio, which I will talk about in a moment. And I did do a warm toned halo eye earlier this month as well. And I'm so happy to be finally using this, showing it some love. I still have not used all of the shades, which I do hope to do. But yeah, 7 more uses on this guy. And then lastly, I have my Glam Light Ice Cream Dream palette. I rolled in the shade Pistachio, which I did use 2 times this month for a total of 5 uses. I do have Pistachio on my lid, topped with Sponsored and a bit of Lemon Drop. It is this beautiful pale green shade. So I've used Pistachio itself 5 times, but I am up to 8 uses on this palette as a whole, so only 2 more uses. So I've been reaching for pistachio more than half the time when I use this palette, but I was also giving myself some, it's very light, it's like a pastel, some freedom to just play with the palette as a whole, whatever I was in the mood for. I've been sharing the looks in my Instagram stories. I've been having a ton of fun with this. I made a neutral look. The shimmers in here are incredible. I do have some troubles with these lighter pastels. What I need is a tacky light base similar to P. Louise, but I do not want to support that brand. I wish I had thought or seen reviews for the Glam Light icing or whatever it's called when I purchased these palettes, because I would have tossed it in my cart. So now I'm leaning towards the Juvia's Place eye primer and getting a bit of a lighter shade, or maybe the NYX Milk Jumbo Stick, something like that, to make these pastels pop, because just on my skin tone they can tend to blend away to nothing, or I'm really having to build them up, which I find a little bit irritating and definitely not conducive for a busy mom who's in a rush most of the time. So yeah, but I don't think it's anything to really do with this formula. I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with pastels, but overall I'm really loving this palette and only need to use it 2 more times. So this will definitely be rolled out next month. And honestly, depending on what I roll in, maybe I'll roll in 2 eyeshadows to like replace this one as well once I get 2 more uses on it. We'll see. Let's see what we roll in first. So I still have 4 shades in this project. Violet Voss Sugar Crystals is going back into my drawer. I do have my Pretty Random app prepared. I have in the numbers 1 to 966. Oh, I forgot to share my bonus pan. It's upstairs. I hit pan in Burnt Orange in my Modern Renaissance palette this month, which was very exciting for me. So I have 966 eligible eyeshadows. I've removed everything that has pan, I believe, and I don't think I have any black eyeshadows in my spreadsheet, but if we roll one of those in, I'll just delete it off the spreadsheet and we will re-roll. So let's see what we get first. That is most likely going to be a brand new palette. Yes, this is a brand new palette, but it might be a black shade, honestly. So this shade comes from my Dominique Cosmetics Transition palette, and it is the shade Smoky, which is a black shade. However, because this is a brand new palette, I just need to use it in its entirety 10 times, and this would get it out of the makeup drawer of shame. So I am going to roll this in. I will use the black a handful of times. I just don't want to pan a black. I have no interest in that. But using this palette as a whole 10 times, using the black a handful of times, we will go with that. I will swatch it just for the sake of consistency, and we will roll in a 6th shade. We're not permanently going to be at 6 shades, but because the pistachio shade, that palette only has 2 more uses on it, I feel okay rolling in another one. My stack of palettes in front of me is very precarious. Wow, I'm rolling in a ton of new palettes, which, I mean, defeats the panning part, but it's also just really good for me to be getting use out of them. Sorry, again, that the kids are being so loud. But let's roll in 1 more shade. That would be an old. My spreadsheet is in, like, I just add my new palettes at the bottom. I worked on this palette earlier this year in this project as well. I've already used the Winky Lux Kitten palette 47 times this year, but I'm really close to hitting pan on one of the shades. Not the shade I rolled in. I rolled in the shade Holographic. But, I mean, it's whatever. It's a good fall palette, just a cute little 9 pan, and the shade Holographic is this one here, and it is, well, it's like a duochrome of like a bluish purple, but like a very light bluish purple. Can you see that? It feels very soft. It is very beautiful. So I'm not disappointed with the shade I got. It's just I've already used that palette so much this year, and I still have so many palettes in my collection that I haven't used. But that shade is stunning. And I worked on the shade Duchess for so long earlier this year. It's the matte cream shade, and I have a huge dip in there that I think I can hit pan in that and help with my 21 pans for the year. So we'll see how I get along with this guy, but like I said, I used this 42 times earlier this year and didn't hit pan, so I foresee this being a 30 user. Okay, so I will insert a better picture of my color story. These are the shades I'm working on for the month of October. I'm actually really happy. I think a lot of these, well, everything really except for the pastel green definitely gives me fall vibes. Very happy with this. I have 3 of my 6 shades are a 10 user, so I think that's going to help keep this project moving a little bit more. I'm happy that I'm getting through some newer palettes so they're not sitting in the makeup drawer of shame for a million years. And for next time, I think that I could get 11 more uses on my Sephora Pro Warm palette, and obviously the 2 more uses on my Glam Light palette. So these 2 will definitely be rolling out. And additionally, I'm going to try really hard to hit pan in my Ciate shade because it's been in this project for so long. And I think I'll feel really good about rolling 3 shades out next month.
Just like, I don't know what you would call it. Question. You ever buy anything off Etsy?
You almost smashed his head off of that. Yes. Why?
Just curious.
That's so random.
Well,
I hope you guys enjoyed today's update. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up so that I know, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!